guys, welcome back to the letter. It's CJ Gamer Girl signing on. So, last episode we had an adorable moment between Isabella and Ash, and I am going to do everything in my power to make sure they get together, if possible, because they're just absolutely adorable together. Um. Oh, and we had our first death in the game. Rosa unfortunately died, and I think that might be because I showed her the letter when I came back. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. A buzzing sensation jolts me awake. My body still wants to sleep, to forget what I heard, what I saw last night. But it's there, nudging, prodding at me. Slowly I become aware of how awkward my position is, and the aches that accompany sleeping in a curled up position the night before. If I even slept at all. The memories are impossible to forget now that Rose is gone. They say it's easier when you say it out loud. Instead, the words weigh heavier on me each time. She's gone. Gone because of me. Gone because of one letter I was too curious to look at. I should have been more careful. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have destroyed it before anyone else had gotten involved. I should have... The notification on my light on my laptop blinks incessantly, mockingly, when I look at it, as if it's calling me back to a sense of normalcy. I check it out nevertheless. To all BRC employees. In light of recent events, there will be an all-staff emergency meeting from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Attendance is a must. Company changes, new hierarchy, and policies will all be discussed during the meeting. Everyone is expected to bring a copy of their own attendance logs and sales reports for the last 6 months. I check it, nevertheless, out of habit more than anything. If this were one of those typical days, I'd happily comply and get myself to our office. Today my limbs just feel heavy. On one hand, going will keep me busy, take my mind elsewhere. On the other hand, the place itself is a stark reminder of what my own fears have cost me. I should just... Let's go. Moping won't get me anywhere. This is just like one of those things, isn't it? You deal with it with a smile, no matter how bad things get, and hope for the best. Although my whole body feels like it's lead and my limbs are sore, I push myself away from the chair and head for the shower. The letter I dropped on the floor last night flutters open as I pass by, unfolding for no one else but me to see. Every word written on it glares back at me. They sneer. They ridicule. Like living beings fully aware of what they've done. With a huff, I pick it up and shove it into my bag, perhaps with more anger and frustration than I'm used to showing. This, too, I'll deal with. Somehow, I'll find a way to make things right. I have to. Before it takes more people from me. Even if I must do it on my own. Papers rustling, telephones ringing, feet shuffling. Overall, today looks like a typical working day at Briar Realty Corporation. Except it isn't. The air is thick with tension and unspoken questions. No doubt everyone present has already heard about Rose. If they missed last night's reports, they'd likely see it in the morning news, in the papers, or on various news sites on the internet. Everywhere is a bitter reminder. In fact, everyone's given me a wide berth, as though the mere mention of Rose would be enough to trigger something in me. It's appreciated, but only serves to create a bigger hole in the place Rose has left. After lunch, my boss calls for a meeting. I don't have to look up from my work to know what it's about. He's in a strange, pensive mood today, probably out of respect for a dead colleague. Oddly, I'd appreciate it more if he just shouted at me today. Anything is better.
I'm sure you've all heard of what happened to Miss Cooper. She was a valued member of our team and she will be missed. There's no date for a funeral yet, but those who wish to attend, kindly speak with your respective supervisors. By the way, has anyone heard about our still AWOL staff? None? HR, you know what to do. Santos, a word? In my office?
At the end of it, I've been giving the entirety of Rose's workload, including finalizing the rights papers, and have been promised an ample compensation for my efforts. I think he's expecting me to be happy about it. Instead, I immerse myself in my work. I have to anyway if I want to forget. Time flies when you do, and by the time I give notice, it's already late. Everyone's already gone, leaving. Oh no! Oh no! 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 That's. We're alone. That's ample time for the ghost to strike. Everyone's already gone, leaving me in the company of a radio and a member of our janitorial staff. I don't even know his name. Rose likely does. She remembers people easily like that.
The Luxbon Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
The radio blares one name after another. Hold on a second. Missing? Aren't they? Still, I have to check. Frantic, I turned back to my desktop. The loud tapping of my fingers against the keys filled the office for the better part of my shift as I looked through everything. The background about the place, its history from the current owners, and a list of employees hired under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am. BRC may have a lot of staff. They may have a lot of agents hired, but I remember those names anywhere. After all, they're also part of the crew who worked with us in preparing the mansion for the open house. Then the letters. No, that can't be. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
But Rose is...
Something snaps into place in a fraction of a moment. These people, Rose, the letter.
I need to... No, if it's like this, they still won't believe me. I have to make sure of it first.
Evidence doesn't lie. That's what Ash often says. If I have proof, then maybe. I don't want to get my hopes up. But maybe there's still a way I can save them. The letter, my phone, papers, anything will be useful. I grab all of them and stuff them in my bag. I can't stay here. There's something I need to do. There's something those people should... The noise cuts sharply through the room, stopping my hand short of cramming a pen into my bag.
Hello? Anyone there?
Someone must have let their printer open again. I may be in a hurry, but if I don't turn it off, another person is certainly going to have a fit tomorrow over wasted company resources. Most of the time, it's Rose who does the nagging, but the clicking of my pen in my hand is a welcome distraction as I search for the said object. Each stride my feet takes also echoes throughout the empty workplace. I've lost sight of the janitor minutes ago, and with me being the only one left, the tapping of my feet against the wooden floor is something I soon learn to appreciate. It doesn't take me long to find it. By the time I turn it off, 5 pages have already strewn about on the ground, the paper tray having also been left ajar. Sighing, I pick each of it up to put someplace proper. But the page that greets me next makes my blood run cold. The chill that makes its way up my spine is as numbing as that day in the attic. The sheets crinkle under my tense grip. All I can hear is my breathing as it rasps through my gritted teeth. Before I can even gather myself, take the first steps out of here, total darkness suddenly envelops me. As if hearing every horrid thought running inside my head right now, something snaps. A soft creak grating through the thin veil of stillness that has descended in the room. That's not a good noise. Someone's been watching too much Grudge. We don't need another Kayako. Every muscle, every bone in my body goes rigid at the sound. Familiar. So familiar now. Yet my own traitorous curiosity still presses me to take a careful peek over the cubby's wall, the cubicle's wall. It's her. Standing in the only exit to the office, albeit facing away from me. She doesn't even need to turn around for me to know it's the same misshapen face, tattered clothes, and unsightly gait. The same person in the attic. I take a step back. The pen I'm holding slips from my hand, and her entire head turns. That's creepy. A scream almost escapes my mouth, and I duck under my table as quickly as I can. My heart is pounding hard against my chest. I can hear the bone-chilling sounds of her walk, the weird clicking that follows her, and her telltale squelch of something wet as she walks towards me. Nearer and nearer. The sounds are slowly getting louder. The only thing keeping the whimper from escaping me is my hand that covers my mouth. Someone please save me. Anyone. I close my eyes, muttering a continuous stream of prayers, all while attempting to steady my own breathing. Please, please don't let her hear me. That's probably going to get really stressful. Seconds, minutes stretch out before me agonizingly. Is she gone? Slowly, I open my eyes to take a peek. I don't dare move or make a noise. In the face of such terror, I can only beg, let out silent pleas to whoever is out there. Please, please don't let her notice. I want to live. And suddenly we're moving on to Hannah's chapter. What? Okay, sure. Leave me on a freaking cliffhanger with Isabella. Thanks. That was... That was a cliffhanger! Anyone was a freaking cliffhanger! Thanks a lot! So mean! That's legitimately kinda mean! Alright, let's check out our relationships. Well, Luke is her husband. So that's not doing too well. Currently. Let's see if I can help that. It is far too easy to get them to pay attention, enraptured. They hang onto my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile, if we're honest, and a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I am...
Hannah Wright!
There's a moment of agitation as a familiar but less than welcome face approaches me with a suggestive smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as I greet any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He's more Luke's friend than mine, really, and I'm sure I only invited his wife. Much like I'm only friends with the Chief Inspector because of Luke, Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never hid his animosity for the Lee matriarch. It was a sort of odd friendship where we would have awkward double dates. I don't even recall his first name. I think it started with an N. I think. Might be wrong. Aside from being Chief Inspector of Luxborn Police, his wife, Rochelle Venance, owns a General Electronics company. Fridges and freezers, mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favorite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight. I see the husband isn't with you.
The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. I just wish Luke was here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. You know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets and getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they have the gall to do this at my own party. In my own house, if I might add. But like any high-society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Rochelle isn't here.
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit daft sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor. The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with a doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
We make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extricated from I hit the mic. I'm sorry, I was trying to get an itch and I hit the mic. I've been extricated from the few who flock in hopes to flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He is a nice enough person. I adore his wife, who's obviously the brains behind it too. But there's something unsettling about him. I do not trust him as much as I want to. He regaled to me tales of the Luxborn Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I'm privy to, and, though I loathe to admit, is interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So, wearing civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the mutant chasing on foot and screaming about theft. The look on his face was priceless when I parked it in the garage.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle has a strange love and hate affair with Lee. He is a married man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Surprisingly enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although my darling did have his moments.
Yeah, the wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Moved for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown? I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife. I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale. Or that something mansion, you know the one with all the ghost stories.
I know what he's talking about. There are really only a few urban legends around here. It's...
The Ermagood Mansion?
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper. You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task. You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card right at... No, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name? McCullough, Marianne, I believe, yes. But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself. This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not fit the definition of small for some people. No. That's technically not small. The apartment I'm in, like, that's small in comparison to a 3-story penthouse. I would love to live in a penthouse. Not sure what I would do with 3 stories, though. My parents probably wouldn't be able to really visit. My mom has trouble going up and down stairs. So, it's kind of also a reason we can't really get a house. Unless it's a 1-story house, and how many of those are around? But... yeah. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. As it is, I only invited about 30 people to this one, and it already feels cramped in here. It certainly would be nice if we didn't have to ride an elevator up and down several floors before I can get anywhere as well. You're complaining about riding an elevator? You ain't taking the stairs. Take the stairs several times a day and then start talking about... Oh my god. You would love that elevator after walking up and down stairs. 3 stories worth of stairs, too. All Luke's words and not mine. Besides, I have been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he anyway? Luke is dressed to the nines as he usually is, and he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side, just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. Oh sure, that's normal. What's confusing is the fact that he's on his way out of the penthouse, considering we won't have anywhere to go until much later.
Where are you going?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn Tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol. And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this. This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere. You know how I operate, Hannah. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis. And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
He did. Moaned about me being too loud, but gave in after some pushing. Perhaps it was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but...
Whose side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff, and you are going to take a cab home. Are we clear?
It's just a bit of a husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. I don't know, this seems a bit... not? It seems a bit worse than a simple tit for tat. He's threatening to abandon you in the middle of nowhere, and you end up having and you have to take a cab home. That's not the usual tip for Tad. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as I seem to call it, reality sets in that you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Perhaps it has been the years. 7 of them is nothing to scoff at.
I just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
Though sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just simple disagreements. I have to stop myself from wondering where we went wrong.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour-and-a-half drive.
Have I been neglectful? Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff...
Certainly any problem can be discussed. As long as he doesn't turn me away.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
Why must he treat me this way? Okay. Okay. We're not... we're... This doesn't sound like a one-time thing. It sounds like he doesn't really treat her with any amount of respect. He's just, I want what I want. I want to do what I want when I want, and if anything to the contrary happens, I'm going to throw a hissy fit like a 5-year-old. And that's what it's sounding like to me. He's just getting all bothered, even though I already didn't like Luke very well. During what interactions in Isabella's chapter, Hana, excuse me. Hana doesn't seem any less pleasant. Or any more pleasant, actually. But when it comes to Luke, he just has this arrogance about him. I mean, don't get me wrong, she kind of does too. It's the whole thing with like being a socialite, being rich and famous and all that. At least when it comes to these two, I'm not saying that all rich, famous people are snobby and unbearable. But it seems like that's what we're dealing with here with Luke and Hana. And honestly, I feel like Hana would defend herself, to be honest. Because remaining silent just does not. It's like if the interactions with her in Isabella's chapter are anything to have it as an example, she is not one to just, sit down and shut up,
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want. I'm ecstatic. Understood? And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed. We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked by my little outburst. He liked that? Oh, Luke, I didn't know you were into women who took charge. Needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked by my little outburst. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply before he crosses his arms to look like, well, a moping child.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
Shut up! My relationship with you went up.
No wine.
No wine? Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
Thank you, Johan.
Whose side are you on?
I think he works for I think he works for both of us. I don't. I just like the way his voice went higher as he said that.
How many times in one day can you ask that?
Give him time. He'll say it like maybe 1,000 more if you give him the opportunity.
As many times as I need you, traitor.
See? Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh. Whew. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm ending the episode there. We'll continue with Hannah's chapter in the next episode. Till then, this is the Gamer Girl, signing off. Bye-bye.